everyone. We are here to do another episode of Her Journey.
Her Journey.
I am your host, Jackie Cameron.
I'm Cassandra Cast.
Yes. And this episode is going to be a little different. Our first episode, Cassandra got an opportunity to kind of ask me some of the questions, and you got to hear a little bit of my story and a little bit.
We're going to get back to that, just so y'all know, okay?
You got to hear a snippet of one of my nuggets on the journey of life that I've been through. But, I had a few people that asked me, we wanted to hear Cassandra's story. There were some people who said, we thought that would have been more of a dialogue. So we were interested in her doing a little bit more talking. And so, so I thought it but fitting to have Cassandra share her story with us. She has a story. She's like apprehensive when I said, to do this, but she definitely has a story. Again, so I was like, we're going to give the audience what they want. And this episode is just going to be my sister and I, and sharing some of the journey of healing that she's on and her road. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be inspired by the transformation on this evening. So when I was thinking of all of the questions, we know them very well, and I was like, okay, God, where should I start? What question should I ask? I know a lot of your story, but when I thought, where did we begin with this? And I wanted to.
Where do we begin?
So I think for me, I wanted to start with what is or was one of your biggest challenge, and what are you doing or what did you do to overcome that challenge?
Okay. Can y'all tell I'm very reluctant to do this, but we're gonna do this. Well, it depends on which stage of my life you want to go to. So you're right, there have been several challenges.
Yeah. Whichever one you feel comfortable sharing at this moment.
Yeah. I love my sister dearly.
She does.
I love her dearly.
Yes, you got this.
Let's start with where I am now. I couldn't have saw myself even 5 years ago. Wow. 5 years ago, where I am now.
Okay.
And trying to write this and trying to figure out what to say. One of the things that I thought of last night in the middle of the night, something, was in this journey, where I thought I would be is not where I am.
Okay.
And even in the growing process of the evolving process, recognizing that this is a journey. And I can tell you at my 20s, I didn't recognize that. I didn't recognize that, I hear a lot more things now, the support things about this is a journey and all these things that I can honestly say when I was in my 20s and younger, I didn't hear any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So we've grown as a community and as a people.
Absolutely.
In general. So in thinking about this, it just didn't appear to me that I was building. But as we go through life, we're building.
Yes.
And whether or not I like the building blocks that are in my playground, they built me.
Yes. Absolutely.
And this is what I was thinking about last night. It has built me. And, it's my story, and people like to complain about it, but my story with my parents was very different. Both my parents were in the home, but I didn't feel like I had what I thought I needed.
Okay.
But the building blocks of that, looking back now, It is what has made me.
Yes.
And it's what has built me.
Yes.
Not taking away or negating the fact that there was a lot of trauma within that,
Mm-hmm.
but it has built me.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I really learned was I can't love and expect people to love me if I don't truly understand the love of God and His love for me.
Yes.
And hence in that, my love for myself.
Yes.
Before I expect even my parents to love me. Because that was really one of the biggest things when I was growing up. I was like, I didn't even feel that they loved me. But now that I have grown and understand it better, I am grateful that I know the true love of God, so then I can hence love myself better. You know?
Yeah.
And it doesn't take away from what happened and all of those things, but I won't allow it to overtake me, like being in a sea. I don't want it to consume me. Exactly.
Yes.
I don't want that to consume me, and I don't allow it to. I'm sure I spent most of my life trying to vie for this attention. This is what I thought was love.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, in really recognizing that now, it was not knowing the true love of God. You know, like we talk about men, and I know I have my issues and have had those in the past, but I can't expect a man to love me if I don't understand the love of God. And I can't expect him to love me if he doesn't know the true love of God. So it can't translate without knowing the true source. That's my interpretation of it.
Okay.
So in all of that, that's a whole nother story, but I just wanted to, this is what came to me last night. Like, these are building blocks.
Yes.
And regardless of whether some of them are a little shaky and this and that, they all had their own little story. You know, my 20s was one thing, my 30s was another, my 40s was another, and now my 50s. They all have their own story, and we can discuss that because I was in a very abusive relationship, very abusive. Hence, part of my medical issues right now are from having those head trauma from that. That was many years ago. So I'm still dealing with that, but all of those are building blocks to where I am now. And I can share that and hope that I can encourage another young woman that you can come out of it, that you can still build from it, that you can survive it, because I survived that whole trauma. But in looking to more recently, where I am now is, let's go back to 2020. When everyone's world, I can honestly say that the whole world had a whole different perspective about life. And it changed everything. It really did. Even though I think sometimes we have almost forgotten about it in a lot of instances. We're like, okay, that's over and done, just like we do. You know, like they say about the shootings and things, you know, it's in the headlines for a few days and then we move on. But in 2020, early on, I lost my mother to COVID. So for those people that want to be like, well, it wasn't really real, it wasn't this, it wasn't that, that first wave was deadly.
Yes, it was.
It was deadly. My mom went into the hospital on Wednesday, Tuesday, and by Monday, she was gone. We were not prepared. We had no type of forewarning. She had started to get better. We were like, oh, I had just called the hospital like 3-something in the morning, that Monday morning, 8 o'clock. That morning. So for those people that want to talk like COVID, you know, and especially now it's almost like the flu, and they're saying you don't even have to, you know, separate yourself, they're saying, which I don't agree, because I don't know what you're dealing with your physicalness. So I want to be aware of that for me. I'm just, for me, I wouldn't want to bring that into anybody's space, you know, at work and stuff. But so that year started off really rocky. Just devastation. And then I remember sitting in my floor when I heard that over 500,000 people had died that summer. I just sat there and cried because I was thinking about the people in New York. They were talking about people were in these freezers and things. And it just, my heart just wept because I, like, all these people feel like I couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
So it's like, Lord, what are you doing? What are you trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
And even before that, I was just traumatized.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just what?
Mm-hmm.
This is seriously, when people say you want to wake up from this dream, this is really a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Just seems to be going on for a few months, but
yeah,
they're gonna knock me over and say that wasn't real.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess I had a stroke at some point that summer that I didn't even realize I had.
Yeah.
But thank the Lord. I don't think I have residual from it. I'm actually not sure.
Okay.
When I think about it, because there's things going on. Then lost my father.
Mm-hmm.
September of 2020.
Mm-hmm. So how many? What was the time span between the loss?
She passed March 30th. He passed September 27th.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But not from COVID.
Not from COVID. Right.
Okay.
No. Still not quite sure what that was because he was living out of state at that time. He lived in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
So that rocked the family.
Yes.
Like, it's just my sister and I, and then we have our children.
Mm-hmm.
That rocked us. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the previous interview, my friend Koida, she lost her parents 31 days apart. Like, I just couldn't imagine it. And that was the year before I lost mine. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, it just
doesn't make sense
at all.
Yeah.
To add on top of that, which is kind of where I'm going, my sister and I flew to Omaha to get some of his things and to kind of make the final arrangements because that's where he was. And we had to go and do that. While we were there, we didn't know it at the time, but I contracted COVID from someone. And I didn't realize it. I had no idea. We were busy taking care of business. We had to do a memorial there. And then from there, we flew back home and then flew to Memphis. Come get the kids and go to Memphis. At the funeral, I honestly have bits and pieces of my father's funeral because I was so sick and didn't know it. I didn't even know it. I remember a couple things. The last thing I remember is we were over at the graveside. I went back into the church. I don't remember anything after that until December 13th.
Wow.
I have nothing for that time span. And
elaborate on that a little bit. So when you left the funeral, you traveled back home, and then did you? Okay.
I don't remember anything after that. Going back, like there was a repast.
Okay.
I didn't go.
Okay.
I don't remember not going.
Okay.
I flew back. Cynthia and I were flying together. She said she didn't make the flight because we were on standby. I don't remember any of that.
Wow.
I came back. My youngest daughter, picked me up. I have no recollection of any of that. When I was home, she said I wasn't feeling well. I have no recollection of any of that. The last thing I remember is walking back from the graveside back over to the church I don't even know why it was. That's the last thing I remember. I don't remember talking to any family. I don't remember seeing anyone after that.
Okay.
And then in the hospital, December 13th.
Okay.
That's the last thing I remember. Yeah. And I had COVID.
Yeah.
Didn't have a clue the severity of it. I was on a ventilator.
Yeah.
Almost 7 weeks. My understanding is that they wanted to unplug me twice.
Mhm.
My daughter said no.
Mhm.
I've seen video of her having to see me in the hospital like that.
Mhm.
Like at that time, she could only come in certain places.
Yeah.
And we couldn't go to the hospital at all for my mom. We didn't get her last belongings.
Yeah.
We couldn't get her clothing. Thank God we were able to see her because we knew someone at the funeral home who actually let us view her.
Yeah.
We couldn't touch her. I
Yeah.
just wanted to just touch her face because she has this soft skin. We couldn't touch her. And that was all of 10 minutes. That was our goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brianna, my youngest, was saying how she shows me pictures, videos. I guess my eyes were rolling around, but I didn't realize I was even in the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I can remember Brianna, calling, people were praying. Cynthia had it on Facebook, people were praying on Facebook. And she would, give me updates, Auntie Jackie, this is what's happening, and I would always, she was like, it doesn't look good today, and I would just like, she was just so concerned. And I would just pray, and at the end of all my text messages to her, I would write, I believe. Like, I believe that my sister is going to pull through this. I believe. And it was just touch and go there for a minute.
It was quite
touch and go there for a minute. And,
the doctors wanted to say,
yeah,
she's not getting any better.
Yeah. And so during that stay, do you remember anything while you were in the hospital?
I don't. I know a lot of people talk about how they had some idea. I've tried to have some sort of recollection.
Okay.
I have no recollection of anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I've seen the videos, my eyes are walling up and I'm just laying there. I don't remember anything, but I am grateful for the prayers because, I had people from my high school, I'm like, that really, prayed.
Yeah.
It was, looking back, it was just a miracle. I can't say anything else, but it was a miracle.
Yeah.
It had to be because my mom didn't pull through. So for me to be sitting here is a miracle. Absolutely. It's nothing short of. It is a miracle.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I look at my daughter. She was by my side, and the people she kept, like you and a few others, that she kept in touch with, and she updated, but she knew the words of prayer and she trusted that, and I thank God for that. And so that has been a journey.
Definitely has.
That journey, when I came home, I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
My legs were too weak.
Yeah.
Because I had just been lying there. So I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
My whole right side was pretty much numb, and I couldn't lift it. So somebody needed to lift my legs to get in and out of bed. Someone there to help me to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And that's a lot on a young daughter, on someone.
Yeah.
It took 6 months, almost 7 months before I was actually able to walk on my own. Like I could walk out my door, and I remember it was summer, and I walked over to Target. That was like the big thing because it's in the plaza right next door to my house.
Yeah.
Nothing but God.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like you're a miracle. You know what I mean? And that God has purpose for your life, that it's like, this is not the end of the road. You know what I'm saying? This is not the end of the road. And so everyone didn't get a second chance. You know what I mean? And so for those people who got that second chance, life is so much precious now. You know what I mean? You look at life differently. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for the grace of God. It could have been any of us. So, you were left for a purpose. You know? So that's why, you got to walk out that purpose. You know what I'm saying? I'm always, like I said in one of the earlier episodes, like we're always in pursuit of that purpose. But you are walking it out. This, right here is doing this.
Yes.
But I just feel like there's just so much more for you. And so, I'm glad. I'm happy that I was just like, thank you, God. And I heard like you were finally gonna be coming home. It was just like, God, we thank you because we know it's no one but your goodness and your mercy that you spared us this life. And so to sit here today to tell this story, and this is why I'm like, no, you gotta tell your story. Like you have a story. You have to tell it. And so that was indeed a big challenge.
Oh, and yeah. That was probably,
from my understanding, still going through some long haulers and still going through that process.
So there's another step when you have, for those of us that came on the first wave of COVID, for most of us, but there's a lot of people that are even in this second, third, whatever wave it is, people that still deal with it. Mm-hmm. It attacks your body in such a way that they haven't quite figured out how to put it or where to put it. Yeah. So, I said my whole right side was still messed up. Literally, these fingers are still numb. The tips of these fingers are still numb. Wow. I could not bend my fingers for a year and a half. Wow. For a year and a half, I could not bend these fingers. I couldn't. Yeah. I couldn't bend my thumb for literally a year and a half. Mm-hmm. Couldn't lift this arm up above the shoulder. Yeah. But this is I'm one of what they call long haulers because we're still dealing with the effects of it. Yeah. Like my stamina's down. I don't have, my body aches a lot. Mm-hmm. Trying to find the right words to say. Yeah. I don't have energy. My appetite comes and goes. My smell comes and goes. Okay. Still to this day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then in 2022, I had an issue. And don't know how this came about, but my daughter kept saying we need to go to the hospital. Went to the hospital. They said I had renal failure. And then I was in ICU again for 4 days. Now, I have never had any kidney issues, ever. Mm-hmm. 1 or 2 kidney infections over the course of my entire life. Yeah, never had kidney issues. And then I come out of that and don't know what to make of that. Yeah. So I don't have any energy. Mm-hmm. I just my body is weak. I can't seem to get it together. My sleeping pattern is always off. Yeah. It just constantly, there's always something with the long COVID things. And so last year, I found out like a year later after that whole incident, I was talking to my PCP and he happened to tell me, you know what? We were talking about that incident. He said, I just read something about that is a part of COVID. Oh, wow. On COVID. Wow. A year later, I find out. Wow. Just by just having a conversation. Yeah. And I said, what? What? Mm-hmm. He says, no, there's been studies. And so that is one of the things, one of the markers from people that have had COVID and some of the other things that are going on. Mm-hmm. So last year around September, before that, I had said that my thighs were weak, like walking. Yeah. And I have been on the walker, off the walker, on the walker, off the walker, because my body is going through these different changes. Yeah. Sometimes I can walk on my own, other times I can't. I don't have the strength. Yeah. So last year I kept telling my doctor, my legs are weak, my thighs are weak. I don't understand why my thighs are so weak. So around about September, I started falling. Like my legs were just giving out, just giving out. My thighs especially, they were waking me up at night. The pain was so severe. It was like something gnawed at my bone and then they were burning. Like it just, and they ached. And round about October, I had fallen so many times, I'm like, okay, you need to be in the wheelchair. Went to the hospital, spent a week in the hospital. They never really came up with anything other than I need to be in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
They put me back on another medication that I had been taken off of because one of the other parts from having the trauma, from head trauma, from the abuse was I was having seizures.
Yes.
So I hadn't had one since April of last year. I didn't have one this year, but they had taken me off of one of the medications after that. So they put me back on that to kind of help it. Thinking that it's gonna help. No. So I'm in a wheelchair. And so they're giving me physical therapy at home. I'm trying to learn to do the physical therapy, building up to it. So around about January, okay, it's getting better, physical therapy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm back out of the wheelchair into the walker.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, like that Monday, I started to feel my legs were feeling kind of weak. Okay, all right, I'm still using the walker. Around about Friday, I was so afraid of falling because I had fallen so many times.
Yeah.
I had fallen in my house. I had fallen at the hospital twice while I was in the hospital.
Wow.
I had fallen other places. I just was so afraid of falling again.
Yeah.
So back in the wheelchair to this day. It's frustrating. It's annoying because I felt like I had worked so hard in doing the physical therapy, but my legs are so weak. My thighs are so weak. And they don't know. They don't have an explanation. And I'm frustrated with doctors because when I first went to see the musculoskeletal doctor, the first thing he said was maybe it could be long COVID. And I'm like, well, can we eliminate other things before we do that?
Yeah.
So I had a muscle biopsy. Apparently the muscle biopsy didn't really say anything.
Yeah.
But I'm reading stuff from people with long COVID. It's talking about a few things, but nothing for sure.
Yeah. Nothing concrete.
And that's
the frustrating part.
Nothing concrete. And so people, and I hate to feel like people just don't know what to say or they don't know what to do with you, because from my perspective, I know people get tired. You know, I mean, I know that my daughter's here. I have a daughter in Seattle. My son is in the next town over, but that's a lot for any one person. And it can become, as a person that is doing it, you hate to be a burden. But I know that there's a reason that I'm here. But it's hard to watch because you want your children to go on and live their lives and not necessarily, I mean, I'm not 75, I'm not 80.
Yeah.
You know? And this has been going on for 4 years now. It's almost 4 years. And it just can wear on you because the sleeping is like this. It's so crazy till I can sleep well for a week and then not sleep for another week or 2 weeks. You know, my appetite comes and goes. My strength, my stamina, I just don't have what it takes. And people always, oh no, it's okay, it's okay. But for me, I feel it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a burden to anyone, but I know that I'm here for a reason. And it's not that God brought me back from that. So it's not that I'm doubting what he cannot do.
Amen.
I don't doubt that.
Yes. But so I'm going to say this. So, you know, like I said earlier in the episode, I know many people, but I knew when I prayed and asked God, like, who should I be partnering with for this? He showed me you. What purpose? Because I have watched you over the years push through so many medical issues. Like this, I'm telling you, like, it's amazing. Like, we came in here tonight to do this podcast, and you know, we sat in the chair and I rolled her on down, but she's still here. She still pushes through. She still tries to work, and people like, maybe you don't need to work part-time. She's still like, you are still fighting for life. You know, you're not sitting in the corner saying, woe is me. You are actually, you want to do stuff. You want to be active. You want to participate.
God. people could know how much I want
and
to
so
do things.
the drive, the determination that you still have, that many people in your position would just give up. Like you are not, no one's gonna put you in the corner and just leave you there. Like you are determined that I am here for a purpose and that I'm going to keep pushing no matter what. Like I just be like, God just smiles down when he sees that. He just honors you, because you are still willing to go. Even if we got to push on down to the conference. Here, let me hold your bag, let me push you in the wheelchair. We're going. So that is huge. And I don't want you to not take notice of that.
Yeah.
Not take notice of the persistence that you have to keep, going to different doubts. No, I don't like that. It's a second opinion. That doesn't sound right. Let's get a third opinion of whatever we need to do. You're doing, you're pushing your way, you're going to church, you could be in pain, but you're still going. We were supposed to originally do this podcast a week ago, and you called me, he's like, I'm just not feeling well. And so then, 3 days later, okay, let's do it. So, you have to stop and honor yourself in that way and give yourself grace and know that God sees all of what you are doing. He sees your faithfulness. He sees your consistency. He sees you pushing through. And that, I just believe that you're getting closer to the light. They said there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
So someone who is a living, walking example of faith, of what, even in the midst of you still trying to find answers, you are still wanting to be in the will of God.
I do.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I get it's frustrating. I get, so I'm not diminishing any of that.
Yeah, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm just complaining.
Yeah, and this is not, feel sorry for me. This is my story, and this is how I'm telling my story. Right. You know what I'm saying? And this is real life. These are things that you go through on a daily basis. But the beauty that I see is how you keep moving and how you keep pushing and how you like, okay, let's do this. And so to partner with you is a privilege and a blessing because, we're going to get it done, even if we got to reschedule it, so I think that this is just going to give you that another purpose to like why I'm here. As I tell my story, I give permission for other women to tell their story and not be ashamed and not feel like I'm going to be judged for what I'm saying because people have to realize this is your story. So, I just say it because this is my story. Right. This is my perception of my story and I have the right to share that. So in my eyes, like you're incredible. Like you're like that hero. That sickness don't keep you down. Like it may keep you down for a second, but the drive that you have to keep going, it's incredible. I'd be like saying, "Do you need to work? You need to work part time? You're doing too much." And she was just like, "No."
I'll rest when I get home. I'll be all right.
Well, we'll figure it out, So, as somebody watching that, that's so encouraging to me to like see you. And I've known you for, we said 30 years. And a lot of those years you've been suffering with medical issues and you are still determined to keep going.
Yeah.
So I think that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it does.
And I really don't want anybody to think that I'm just complaining, but I'm just giving you where I am. Yeah. My story and, how that thing that we talk about, our journey, keeps changing.
Yes.
Even when I was this one and this one, it just keeps changing. Yeah. And right now, my biggest cheerleaders and support are my daughter.
Yes.
My friends.
Yes.
And, for women, it's okay. You don't need 25 friends.
Absolutely not.
You only need a few faithful ones. Mm-hmm. And ones that know how to pray. Mm-hmm. Ones that know how to get a prayer through and know how to pray. Mm-hmm. You don't need a whole bunch.
No.
No. And I am so thankful for the ones that I have, because I promise you, I know y'all prayed me through.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I know y'all prayed me through, and
Mhm.
y'all kept my daughter, who can testify to know that God answers prayers.
Oh, yes.
If she didn't know before,
Oh, definitely.
she knows now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
She knows now.
Yeah,
Without a shadow
that's a
of a doubt.
beautiful thing. Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
It really is amazing when I think about this journey. And even 5-6 years ago, I can't imagine that I would have been through this, gone through all this, that I'd have the strength.
Yes.
Because there are nights, there are times you are gonna cry.
Absolutely.
It's gonna get frustrating.
Yes.
But you get up in the morning, wash your face,
And keep it going.
Smile. How you doing? How you doing? You put the country voice on and people just take it a little bit nicer. How you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I know that I'm not giving up. It's tough. It's hard. But I know that there's a reason for me being here. And I haven't finished that yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't always know where the strength gonna come from other than from God, but I know that I haven't finished this journey yet.
And having that positive posture, I just feel like God just honors that. You know what I mean? And He is like, you could be, like I said, you could be honing in on the sickness and it's me, and you're not that person. You're not that person. And I just think that, answer's gonna come. We pray in 2024 that the answer come and you walk into your full healing, and you're gonna be a warrior. And sometimes the enemy knows how powerful we are, and he's just like, okay, let me, throw something, and I was telling you, I had attended this seminar last week called Call Women, and the woman on it, she was just saying the enemy does not have access to our future, only to our past. So that's what he uses.
That is so powerful.
He does not, and he is so basic. I love when she said that, he's so basic. He's using old stuff to paralyze us. And so as you push through this journey of healing physically, I just pray that God will continue to strengthen you and, keep that spirit of never giving up and pushing through, and that you will push through to your whole healing and your fulfillment. And there's going to be no stopping you. And even because you can't stop her now. So imagine when she gets completely full. Like, anybody see Cassandra?
I'm gonna be gone. I'm out.
She gonna be out. So
doing His will, because the one thing that I've learned in these 4 years is really to trust Him.
True trust,
like never before.
Yeah.
Like my grandmother's trust. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Those of us that do like your grandmother, like your grandmother's praying.
Even when you don't understand, even when it doesn't make sense, it's like, I still trust you, because you are the author of my life. So I give you permission to edit, to add a period, to add a comma, to delete, to add on. I give you permission to do that. We talking about God.
So delete anybody that ain't
and we trust the process, even when it doesn't make sense to our. We try to make it make sense to our mind and our own eyes. We trust Him because He's all knowing and all powerful. And at the end, Jeremiah 29:11, He has a plan. He knows the plans, hope, and a future. So we rest in that. So,
and like you said, the enemy doesn't have access to that future.
No. So he uses old stuff.
And this illness thing is old stuff at this point in time.
Yes.
But I have truly learned to trust Him like never before.
Yes.
To know who He is.
Yeah. He's awesome. That's it. And so when I think about, your story of, some of your medical challenges, just, knowing you for all of these years. When I think about that, we've had many conversations way before this podcast, that we said our podcast, and we talk about everything. And so when I think about, the logo that we chose with the little girl, the little girl and the grown woman, and the idea for the logo has just been something that's always been on my heart as myself, feeling like I'm called to women to help them heal that little girl, because that's something that I experienced as a child from, like I would say abandonment and rejection, things. So doing that seminar that I took, I learned that they were talking about identifying the woman that you're called to, and really giving her a name and describing this woman. And so I just went back to this picture of her journey, and I realized that's what I'm called to. I'm called to the woman who's trying to heal that little girl from past traumas, abandonment, rejection, lies that the enemy has told her.
Never feeling like you're enough.
Never feeling like you're enough. Not thinking you're beautiful enough. All of these things. Now walking into that grown woman, letting that little girl know, like that key, the heart that we show on the little girl, the woman, you have the key to unlock her. She wants to rest. She wants to be set free. She wants to be released, but we just keep her close. But we need to, as a grown woman, have a conversation with our little girl and let her know she's safe. But you have to do the work to set her free.
That's the other part of the story that I got to talk about.
You got to do the work to set her free, because not she shows up. Even when you have done the work, I shared with you the other day that I had to have a conversation with her and be like, wait a minute, now we're safe, we're protected, we're good. Like, no, we're not doing this. And so that's a lot about what our logo is, and we're going to be diving deeper into that, and really having a conversation just based on this logo that we set up. A lot of us are carrying that little girl, and
remember I told you there was a situation that's going on in my life, brought up a whole bunch of stuff. We have to recognize that it's not necessarily, and forgive me and help me do this correctly, that the spiritual side of us, like once we heal it, it's not there. It is. And the enemy knows how to bring it up, but we have to pull it back in. And it's a lot of times it's that little girl, those things that stir themselves back up. We have to put it back where it needs to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
and exactly into that. And like I like to say, like some of us think, of course we pray and go to church in that spirit, but there's nothing wrong with Jesus and therapy. To help us to get to that other side. Jesus. So let's not negate that, let's not make that taboo.
Right.
I've gone to therapy, and it's eye-opening, and it just helps. So as I go into that segue, my question was going to be, I got off a little touch, was what would the grown woman say to your little girl?
That you're enough. That you're enough. Like when I was talking about how for years I thought, I didn't think my parents loved me and all this stuff. And, that was my perception. That's where I got that from. Yeah. But I just never thought I was enough. And then that carried on into relationships, because I'm like, well, if my parents don't love me, how's anybody else gonna love me? It's just that cycle.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you have to knock down those building blocks and rebuild the good stuff. Yeah. Get rid of all that old stuff. And even though you think you throw it in the trash, it's still there because it's inside of you, but you have to make sure you keep it in place. So that she's enough. Yeah. She is enough, and she's worthy of love.
Yeah. And I think also we have to remember too, those memories sometimes that we lock in at different ages.
Yes.
Whatever age that you felt like you weren't enough, 8, 12, whatever it is, that now as a grown woman, you look back and be like, sometimes our parents or guardians they were going through their own pain.
Stuff. Yeah, I realized
they were going through their own struggle. So they were giving us the best of what they could give us. So now at 8, you can't see that.
You can't see it. Lord knows.
You can't see that at 8, 10, 12, 5, whatever the age is that you started to feel that. But now as you begin to heal and do your work, now you can look at that grown woman now looks through the eyes of that little girl and be like, okay, you know what, you was in pain.
I see it. Yeah.
Not to see. So now it can give me grace that, you know what, I'm forgive them.
Yeah.
You actually were fighting their
own battle, trying to make their own space in this, not knowing how to deal with it, not knowing where to put it.
Yeah.
I mean,
because nobody taught them.
Right.
And so that's how it starts to be generational. But,
yes.
Breaking that and realizing that, you know what, that got locked in at 12. Somebody said you weren't good enough or somebody, whatever the words that were spoken unto you. And begin to now replace those with goodness. Like, I am good enough. Reverse that negative thinking or negative words that were spoken to, like, I am good enough. And so you were dealing with your own issues.
Like, I would really
that you portrayed on, you project on me.
Yes.
And so as parents, sometimes we have to be careful about that.
Very careful.
Because we're in our pain point moments, and then we say something to our kids, and they're 38, and then remember the day when you said, you know what I mean? And so, but that only comes with doing the work. And you now, as a grown woman, can look back on that 8-year-old and talk to her and be like,
because I recognized it.
Yeah,
I've recognized a lot of it in my parents, especially in my mother and things, and just and so. To tell young women that, and to tell young girls, you know what, your mother has a story. Yeah. They have a story. Yeah. It's not, I know that you really want all this love and you want all this, they really have a story. So maybe they're not able and they can't. Mm-hmm. And it's not negating or trying to take away from what you're going through or what's going on. Yeah. But no, I learned that grace. Yeah. I learned that grace.
Yeah. And we're not saying that makes it right.
Right. Exactly.
What I'm saying is that now as that grown woman, as you begin to rediscover yourself, rediscover yourself, and now look back on that younger you're like, now I can see this myself. But if you don't do the work, you will still stay locked in.
Yes,
to that's what 8-year-old, and it will never grow up, and that 8-year-old show up will be.
And you're not giving that woman authority to have the key to unlock it.
Stuff. Yeah. And she wants to be free,
y'all. She wants to be free. She wants to be free.
Yeah. So is that the only, you said enough. Is there any other?
That I was enough and that I was beautiful. Mm-hmm. Beauty is it's not just outward, it's inward. And I remember trying to fight my way to be this. I was the smart one and I was this and I was that. But all of that was just trying to hide other stuff. Yeah. But basically if I'm enough, then everything pretty much goes into it. And I just never thought that I was enough. Never. And I was always trying to pull something else to make this one notice me and be important to this one. But that wasn't where they were. Yeah. I didn't feel whatever desires that they were looking for. But I didn't need to. Yeah. That's the key. I didn't need to. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And we don't always recognize that, but I didn't need to. Everything that you have is already in you. Yeah. You have to tap into it. Yeah. And that's the part about that little girl. Like, she has so much stuff when we're young. We don't have any fear. We're going to go out and discover and explore. We can't always do that. But now as an adult, you can go and explore. Like, I always wish I could roller skate. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. Yeah. It just those things that even as a young one that you couldn't do. So I'm an adult now. If I want to go do it, I can go do it and experience it and try it. Yeah. Painting or, all these other different things instead of just locking it into that little girl and never letting it out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because you weren't able to then. But now it's okay. Yes. It's okay. Yes. Yeah. Oh my goodness. When I finally recognized that I was enough. And I struggle with that daily, honestly. It is something that I just struggle with. It is always, I feel like it's always going to be there mainly because that's what the enemy does.
Yeah.
That's what he tries to do. He always has to keep the same old stuff, bringing it up, like you said.
Yeah.
And so that is something that stares me in the face all the time, but I have to fight past it every single day and recognizing that God doesn't put crazy stuff together.
Yeah.
He's not mediocre God.
Oh, no.
You know, he's not a mediocre God. So I'm not mediocre, thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not mediocre. Yeah. None of you are mediocre.
Yeah.
So, it's just, we have to ground ourselves in his love and his power and in what he has given us to do, because we are the ones that bring life into this world. We need to recognize how important and how much power we have.
Yeah.
That's always my thing.
Well, that's his job. He doesn't want us to realize that, because then we're relentless.
We have so much power. Whenever something goes wrong, you start to look, there's a woman behind it. You know it is. No offense, men, but you know that there's a woman behind it. I mean, look at Obama, but Michelle was behind her.
Yeah.
They were talking about trying to make her run for president. Seriously? But there's a woman behind it, because we are the givers of life. And even in that life, the life of the little girl that's in the picture, we can rewrite that story. Redefine it. That's right.
Yes.
Redefine that journey.
Yeah.
We really can. And honestly, in the last 4 years that I have been here, I have learned so much more to trust God and to know who he is, which helps me learn who I am and who I am in him.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a light came on. Like, wow. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. That's powerful when we learn that. And we've got to learn to, we talked about the love of God, but we also got to learn to love ourselves.
Right. Yeah.
And we can't expect someone else to love us, and we don't even love ourselves. So we've got to do the work to love ourselves. That's first, because again, like you talked about that cup that you can't pour into somebody else's cup, and a lot of times we expect for others to love us in the way that we felt that we didn't get. Yes. And so then that becomes, and then when that person or thing disappoints you, you're like back to the little girl. Like I feel that pain of the little girl.
Yes.
When we are responsible for loving ourselves. Yes. And so in a way that if someone chooses to walk away from you,
they're lost.
Exactly. It's their loss.
It wasn't for us. It wasn't for them, and it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Because what God has for you, it is for you. And it is always so much better than what could have been.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is always that basket full of those 5 loaves. It is so much more than what we thought we lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have learned.
Yeah.
We can look back and be like, yep, I'm so glad I didn't bother with him. I'm so glad you revealed that mess to me, Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
He will make a way of escape.
He will. Yes, he will.
But we have to be open to hear it and listen, because sometimes he's showing us, we be like, I can fix this. No.
That second marriage of mine, I was like, no, that's not red. It's like fuchsia.
I'm not interested in being in a relationship with someone. We look for potential.
Yes.
No. No.
That's when you're 20.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit north of that.
A little bit more seasoned.
I'm not looking for that. You gotta be already seasoned in the oven. Yeah. Just about done turkey.
Yes.
It needs to be just about done.
Yeah, this is so good. But so today you would say that you know blank about yourself now.
What would I say that I know what about myself? That I honestly, other than, because I've always known, but the reasons why I push are different.
Okay.
I've always known that I'm going to make it work.
Okay.
That I've always known.
Okay.
Because no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
you know, one of my old pastors used to say, I can move money. I can tell you how to do this. So, you know, like I was always going to make it, figure it out. Let me tell you, I can figure it out.
Yeah.
But my reasonings now as to why I can figure it out are different.
Okay.
So that much I know about me.
Okay.
Is that my reasoning for figuring it out is because of the call that God has on my life.
Yeah.
And what I do for Him
Mm-hmm.
and to live right by Him.
Yeah. Okay.
So that much I know for sure now.
Yes. Yes. That's awesome.
Even though I'm third generation Kojic, y'all,
oh, Lord.
I didn't realize the significance and the power of God until the last 4 years. You know, and really learning who He is.
Yeah.
And when you learn that, it's
yeah, because then it becomes personal.
Yeah.
You know, that personal encounter.
Yeah.
You know, and not going off of what Mama said or
right, exactly.
You know, the traditions of
and the traditions,
you know,
of
but
it.
having that personal relationship, like you know, like being that intimacy with God, like being in a relationship with Him where He speaks to you and you're in a posture to listen and to hear Him. So that's you know, and like any relationship, in order for it to grow, you gotta water it and put it in sunlight and sometimes change the soil. So in order to have that intimate relationship with God, you gotta spend time with Him. You know, you got to have some devotion. You know, and you know, people think, oh, it has to be a certain way. No, one of my war rooms is my car.
Yes,
I have the
mine.
best prayer time on my way to work, or if I get in there, I'm driving. It's just me and Him. So you don't have to, you know, it's like, oh, I got to be at church, or I got to build an altar. No, or wherever. It could be your bathroom.
Yes.
Wherever you can get that time alone with just you and Him and no one else around. And, you know, whatever you need to do to feed that.
Right. And I'm not saying I didn't have it before, but in the
but it's a different level.
Yes.
It's
really
grown
level.
Yeah.
To a whole different level.
Yeah.
A deeper level.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
that's awesome. So when you think of, you know, our 3 words are healing, evolving, redefining. So when you think of these words, what does that mean to you? Like, how did you see that fitting into your life?
That I'm open to continue the journey.
Good.
That I'm open to continue the journey. I'm not stopping right here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the same place I was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I'm continuing the journey, but each time that I take another step and add another building block, I'm growing. But I'm growing in God.
Yeah.
That's my heart's desire.
Yes.
That's my heart's desire. So that's what that means to me. Healing, not just the little girl, but a whole bunch of other stuff. You know what I'm saying? As I went through each journey, each step, each leg of my life, healing and changing, evolving into what it means this day. Yeah. And then redefining it. Yeah. So as it grows, but that redefining is redefining it in God. Yeah. I may have been something else back, and you know, I may have had this, but the level and the depth is so much more different now. You know, it is so different now. Yeah. And in the midst of everything that's going on with you, you know, we always talk about self-care, right? And self-care is not selfish. And so how are you developing or have you developed methods of filling your self-care cup? And if yes, how do you do that? Probably not.
We're gonna work on that.
We're gonna work on that one. I just dealing with my health. I honestly have not, other than going to get my nails done. That's about it. Okay. You know, that's about it. Spending time with the people that I love. Okay. You know, Right now, I used to do like family dinners, and I haven't been able to do it. So I'd like to get back to that because I like to bring people together, and have that family time.
But that's kind of like for others. Like, we're going to bring it back.
Did you say that? Yeah.
We're going to bring it back.
Oh, Lord, no.
That's serving others, and all of that's beautiful.
So much. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's beautiful. I would love to see you develop self-care for yourself.
Well, I am going away later this year.
Okay,
that is
nice.
Really going to probably be the really first real big thing that I've ever really done for myself.
Okay.
I am seriously looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is for me.
Okay. All right. We're gonna add a couple more things to your self-care bucket. It's even like just getting up in the morning and having 15 minutes, having your tea and just sitting quiet, or anything like that, like taking a bubble bath with candles, or things, things like that. Those are all little self-care tips for me. I love to like go walking, or do the treadmill, doing some fitness stuff, how I eat, so we're gonna get some of those.
I love body scrubs.
We're gonna add those. Okay, getting a massage.
Oh no, we can't do that. That just no.
Okay,
that will make my head and stuff go crazy.
Okay,
we can't do the massage thing.
All right, you can have a cup of tea in the morning.
Body scrubs.
Right now, it is getting her nails done, y'all.
Yes,
we're gonna leave it like that, okay?
That's very basic.
Would you say my purpose in life is? Do you know what that purpose is? That is such a big.
It is a
question.
Really big mountain to climb. Okay. Yeah, you see this? It's a really big mountain to climb, but
knowing your purpose,
it is. It is. It just is. I know, because I was like, tell my story because I knew this was coming, but so are you still? In pursuit of it. I'm still, Lord. I know that I'm here for a reason. I know that I want to encourage women, whether it be young women my age, in betwixt. Don't give up. There is something, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. I'm always like, you having problems, let me tell you how to get, I'm always trying to share new things, information with people, especially women, especially mothers, trying to help them, make sure that they can take care of the kids. What do you need? There's this agency, there's this one, there's this,
She's really good with that. A great resource.
The services, I know. I just do that. That's just who I am. I've always been that way. So, and giving. So, but the actual, me and the Lord is well talking about that one.
And sometimes I think, and I'll say this, and sometimes I think we overthink our purpose.
Guilty.
I think we overthink it. I think some indicators of our purpose is that thing that you love to do, that you would do it even if you didn't get paid to do it. That innate thing that just makes you feel good. That sometimes that issue that makes you more angry than anybody else. Like, did you see what they did to them? Like that, you're that solution. Like, how do we go in?
Resource person, but I think in me, I'm always thinking that can't be it because that's too easy. That's me.
Right. See, but what if you put it together in an incredible website that people can go to as a resource? It's not too easy. Like, we sometimes overthink our purpose, and we think, that's so small. That can't really be making an impact. But we're all called to different things. And so one of the things that you're called to is sitting on this podcast. Making impact right here is a part of your purpose. Telling your story of not giving up, still in the midst of waiting for your complete healing. there's somebody else that's waiting for their complete healing that you've just given courage to be like, you know what, I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna get up out of the bed. I'm gonna
Tommy, I'll tell you something you need.
I'm gonna comb my hair today. I'm gonna, try to make myself a meal and just not just sit there in that role like, why is this happening to me, God? You are still pushing through, even when you have those moments of doubt. I admire you so much for your push through on all the things. We've had some situations.
Woo, y'all don't even know. Jackie's like, throw her in the car and take her.
I didn't say.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She can't even deny it. Look at that face. She can't even.
I have helped put her in the car. On some occasions, we've had to kind of
help her along.
Get them in there. Like, come on, Cassandra, you got this.
She didn't remember any of it. Yeah.
I called her the next day, and you was like, no, what? I don't know. Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, so we've had some funny stories doing this journey.
Yes.
But, so don't negate the small things to think like, oh, that can't be part of my purpose. Like you can build on that. So we would say that you are still in pursuit of what the full purpose is. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna let
I'm
her
here
go
to push
with
you. We on this journey together.
So, given that, we're gonna move right along. So, what would you say if I asked you, I am?
I am, other than a child of God, other than loved by God, other than learning to love myself, I am determined.
Oh, I love that. I love that for you. Yes.
Determined.
Yeah.
I gotta push through it. I can't. Even on the bad days.
Failure is not an option.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And even when I'm crying, I gotta do something.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out,
Yeah.
That's what people think. Oh, she'll figure it out. Yep, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. I always tell people my father didn't realize he had a daughter till he had my sister, which was 8 years later. So moving things, cutting the grass, and that, I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
What else is there to do? If it came apart, it has to be able to be built back together. It's that simple. You know what I'm saying? That's my thinking. So I'm gonna figure it out.
Okay. Definitely. I love that. I am determined. That's beautiful.
So,
and thinking of that, so what impact or fingerprint would you like to leave on the planet to be known?
That we are stronger than we think we are. We're stronger than we think we are. And don't accept, no, you can do this. You can do this.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want to leave my daughters, my son. I want you to know that no matter when things get hard, you may have to cry.
Yes.
You may shed a tear. You may lose a few things here and there, but you haven't lost the battle.
No.
You haven't lost the battle.
No, exactly.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Yes. Yeah, that's so awesome. So failure is not an option. I can remember when my daughter Ashley was getting her PhD, and there were the nights that she wanted to give up, or she wanted to be like, I can't do this anymore. She spent hours in the library on the weekend when her friends were out doing other things, and those moments when she wanted to give up, and I'm like, they're closing the door. I said, listen, if they close the door, go through the window. Like, the failure is not an option. You're in court. If the door gets closed, go through the window. And so today, I'm super, super proud of her to say that she has her PhD. We got a Black doctor in the family.
Yes.
She is a psychologist, a beautiful mom, just had her first baby. So she has Her and her husband just had their first child 9 months ago now, but she is a little fiery. You know what I mean?
Her mama.
So, and I was like, oh, Ashley, I see you. You know, that she has the spirit of her mom. So
Yes,
I know she is going to do some awesome things in this world as well. But, you know, just pushing through, and now she's able to look at the fruits of her labor and just be, you know, in this good place. So I love that. Like, just keep going. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up, and keep pushing through. So
I don't want anybody to think that it's easy. I'm not trying to tell you that it's easy, even with Christ, but I wouldn't trade my journey with Christ for anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you have got to keep going.
Yeah.
You can do it. I mean, in the midst of, I know people that are struggling with trying to overcome drinking, but you can do it. There's help, there's somebody, there's something. Trust me, I will figure out somebody to call or somebody to help. There's a way, but don't give up. Just keep going.
And you have to align yourself with people who are like-minded and who have been where you're trying to go. You know, and don't be afraid to raise your hand and be like, I need help, you know, or whatever.
There is no such thing as a stupid question.
No.
Just ask it.
So we gotta learn how to, and sometimes that means leaving that circle of friends that you used to hang out, that likes to party or like likes to drink. It's like, you know, I can't hang out with you. Like, now I have to create a new environment for myself. And so making sure that we are surrounded by
good
people.
Know that's hard. It is hard.
Necessary.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
But you will be much better on the other side of that. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Absolutely.
You will be much better on the other side. And you'll look back and go, wow, look where I came from.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But you'll never know that if you don't be willing to take the steps. And you actually have more people in your corner than you usually don't think. Yeah. You actually have more people in your corner and you don't really think that you do. There's people in your corner that's ready there to help you.
Exactly.
Help you get through it, to encourage you, to lift you up.
Yeah. That's so true. That's so true.
Yeah, take them up on it.
And I think my last question, and then you can add anything else that you would want to add to this, but this has been great. I told you she had a story, right? Yeah. So what is your definition of success?
My definition of success is, I actually think on one aspect, I'm successful now because I know how much I am loved. First by God, and then by the people in my circle. I honestly believe that the people in my circle love me.
Absolutely.
So that's success to me.
Yeah.
That's success to me.
That's beautiful.
I believe that my children love me. I believe my friends love me.
Absolutely.
It's only a few that I believe that
they
love me. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that growing up. I was like, they don't love me. How can they? But I believe that now.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And I can walk taller or roll taller in the wheelchair. I can sit tall.
Yes.
Knowing that.
Yeah, you are.
I really can.
Yeah. That's beautiful. It's beautiful.
You know?
That's beautiful.
Because that, to me, I couldn't say that for so long. I couldn't say that. And I don't know if people understand what that feels like, but I could not say that.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I couldn't. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
You know, people say, oh, don't worry, you call me anytime, this and that. One, I didn't believe you. I didn't believe you.
Yeah.
I would never test it out to be like, okay, call them at 2:00 in the morning because they'd be like, calling me anytime. I never could.
Yeah.
So, being able to say that now without a shadow of a doubt.
That's beautiful.
That's success to me because I
didn't
know that. I didn't know that. And I know that now. That's what life is. You want. I'm grateful to be here, but I know that I'm loved.
Yes. Amen.
That there's people on this earth that love
you. Yeah, I'm one of them. Hello.
And I love her.
Yes, exactly.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
And I couldn't say that without a shadow of a doubt. I couldn't feel it in my spirit. Yeah. But I can say that in my spirit.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. And, when I think about you saying that, I think about our friendship. We're family now.
I know.
Her kids call me Auntie Jackie. But I can remember, we met at church.
Yes.
And you guys came up from Memphis, right?
Nebraska.
Omaha, Nebraska. I don't even know how we connected, because it was like, other people, because I'm always the type of person that I'm drawn to, like, not the newbies, but I'm just like, I'm friendly. I think I just made myself friendly, but I don't even know how we got so close. It just kind of happened.
Yes.
And then my son was going to be they were like teenagers. Brothers and all this, but I can remember when you guys came.
Your son still calls me mom.
Yeah, exactly.
They call you auntie, but you call me mom because of my son.
And it just, our friendship just grew and just
became.
And now it's just like, family cooks
out.
So
whatever we're doing, Jackie, come on over.
Yeah, exactly. So it's beautiful when you think about like 30 plus years of friendship. And I'm like, how did it start? It just kind of, I know it started at church. It's organically kind of happening. Here we still are. And those are the people that are stable in your life. Yes. Like you said, you don't need, like, I'm like, my closest friends, I probably can count on one. Yeah. And I don't need all my fingers. But you know what I'm saying? And so to have relationships with people that are 20 plus years, those are solid. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I love that the people that I'm in close relationship, I've known them for 15 plus years.
Yes.
And it's just like, we are there for each other. So, this has been amazing. You did awesome. Right, guys?
There's more stories to come because our lives and the backstory of the stuff. Y'all want to know about the women? The men, y'all wait for it. Wait for it.
But, and so
y'all through it.
So we have many more nuggets, as we continue. Like, I'll be dropping more nuggets of my journey, and Cassandra will as well. But I didn't know if there was anything else that I didn't cover that you wanted to say.
I don't think so. I'm looking back at all my notes, and it just kind of happened organically. It just it's what needed to be said, I believe, is what was said, because I want women to know that, this whole health thing, it is what it is. But you've got love by people that you love and that love you, and God loves me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I just keep chugging away.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So this has been, again, wonderful time spent, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode of us just having one of our phone conversations, but out publicly with you guys to see my beautiful sister and all of the things that she is going through and have overcome and is still learning, but still she is determined. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. If any woman out there has a story, as we've said before, and want to get their story out, you can contact us at herjourney62@gmail.com, and we would love to have a conversation. If you know someone this platform fits and you think they need to be on this podcast, please, again, reach out to us at herjourney62@gmail.com, and we will get in contact with you.
Because it is our endeavor to reach women. I understand that there's a lot of things out there, but there's things that we can share. And the reality of it is we're living our lives in front of you. And we're not trying to hide things, or we're not trying to, take this out there. We just want to be able to reach women and let you know that is a safe space for you to share your story and to encourage other women, because that's what we're here for.
Yes.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, and the transparency. And
yes,
we have not arrived. We're on a journey like each of you. There are still things that we are going through, even as we do this podcast, but we are determined to still go through to show other women that you don't have to be perfect, but you have to be progressing towards those things that will give you a hope in the future.
Yes.
So again, thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to the next time that we spend with you. Thank you. Blessings.